Well, hello everyone and welcome to yet another Discussions with Dolf. I'm coming to you today from Akihabara, one of my favorite suburbs in Tokyo, Japan. Akihabara, of course, is where they have a lot of the latest electronics that's developed and produced here in Japan on display and for sale. So it's a fun place to go. I've been coming here for decades, literally. And it's also a rare day in that the road is closed, so you can see lots of pedestrian traffic on what would otherwise be a very busy thoroughfare. And it is unique for yet another reason, and that is because this is the first Discussions in Dolf in literally years that I don't have a tripod with me. I think you'll recognize that usually my shots are pretty steady, and that's because I always have them on a tripod. I, over the years, have gotten a sequence of tripods that are lighter and stronger and better than ever before. But today I didn't bring one, so I'm using a biological tripod, which is my arm. And I also don't have a microphone with me, so I'm using a wireless microphone, which is the airwaves, the voice, the sound I'm producing. My voice is going straight to the microphone. And I'll try and keep it as steady as possible, but it's more difficult than I thought, because even though I came from the winter in Phoenix, which is like summer anywhere else, and I've just been to the summer in Indonesia, and I've been in Singapore where there never is any winter or summer, here it is winter, and it's remarkably cold, and when it's cold and you're holding a phone up at arm's length, your arm tends to get a bit wobbly sooner than it would in a warmer climate. Anyway, be that all as it may, we are here to discuss real estate and things that are relevant to real estate. And one of the things I want to highlight here about Akihabara, because most of you will remember that last time I was here, which is probably, 6 months ago or so, I talked about the fact that all the buildings that I saw here 30 years ago when I used to come here are still the same. They are still here, but the things they sell in those buildings are, of course, completely different. That's evolving technology. When I first came here, Walkman were the product of the day, and I think these days many people don't even know what a Walkman is. They think you're going on a slow jog or something. So it's a very interesting thing. The property owners are still leasing the buildings to tenants, but the nature of the tenancies has changed. They are no longer selling cassette players and record players and everything else like that. They're now selling far more modern technology. But one of the things I want to highlight, and I'm going to swing around, and that's perhaps an advantage of having my biological tripod with me, is you'll see that the walls of these buildings are absolutely clad with advertising logos. It's absolutely everywhere. And it sort of gets to the point where if people are allowed to advertise and it gets out of hand and out of control, then it becomes ugly, to the point that if there's too much, it's just obnoxious. But after you go beyond that point, it's almost as if people come to expect it. And here in Akihabara, it is expected that every square meter of every building is clad in some kind of advertising, and it's almost part of the charm. And I can relate to the extremities a little bit, because I live in a gated community in Phoenix, Arizona. It's guard gated, which means, there are two kinds of gated community. One is where there's a gate, you need a key code to get in, and the other one is where 24 hours a day there's a live guard who checks every vehicle coming in. So I live in a guard gated community, and we have a very strict set of rules. It's the HOA, the Homeowners Association. In other parts of the world it's called the body corporate, and they have rules and regulations as to what you may do and what you may not do. Well, it came time to replace my garage door, or in some places it's called a garage door. So I got the people to come and measure up and figured out what kind of electric door opener I want. I wanted the sort of system whereby the motor is on the axle so that you don't have the contraption in the middle of your garage. And we decided on the color, blah, blah, blah. And then it came to the day of delivery and I said, that's the wrong color. My house is a sort of a light cream color, and the garage door was a dark walnut. It was very dark brown. And not only did I not particularly like it myself, but it's not allowed according to the HOA. So anyway, they said, no problem, we'll install it. This is made to measure, and we'll paint it to whatever color you want at our cost. And I said, fair enough, that's a good solution. So it was installed on a Friday, and by Monday, the HOA had sent me a letter explaining that it's against the rules to have a slightly different color of brown on my garage door. And of course, we'd already set a train in motion to have it painted, and it was painted the following Friday, so 7 days within installation. And yet I already received a second letter from the HOA saying that I was still in violation, blah, blah, blah. So that's one extreme, where they're so particular about even the color of a door that if you're in violation of that rule, they come down hard on you. And here you have a situation where it seems anything goes. You can put anything on the walls of these buildings, I guess as long as it's not obscene or something, although you'd be surprised here with the so-called anime that they've got in Japan, that some of the things are what in many other parts of the world would be called quite risque, I guess. But here it seems to be par for the course. They have a very strict code of ethics on morality in Japan, and yet on the trains you'll see people reading these anime magazines which are somewhat explicit, and it's one of those anomalies which I can't understand. I don't explain it, I don't try to, but you shrug your shoulders and say, well, that's part of the charm of every place where they have these anomalies. For heaven's sake, folks, if every place were the same, there would be no fun in going to these places, right? You might as well stay at home. And I'm blessed, this is my 8th country this year so far. We're only into the 5th or 6th week of 2018, so I feel very blessed in being able to experience all these different things. And once again, we've run out of time. That's all we've got time for, so I'm going to continue my exploring of this great part of Tokyo, and in the meantime I'm going to wish you, as always, successful investing. Thank you very much.